I'm Allie. I came out after 20 years of marriage and I have 3 kids.
I'm Melissa and I have 2 kids and I came out at 37 after an 11-year marriage.
This podcast is about coming out later and the struggles and victories that come with it.
When coming out feels like the end of the world, but it's really just the beginning.
This is the Lesbian Chronicles. Welcome to the Lesbian Chronicles. We've got one of our favorite lesbians here.
She's back.
As promised, the sex episode.
The sex episode with Julia.
Which we just decided on about
10 minutes ago.
Exactly.
You found out 10 seconds ago. We were afraid you'd say no. So we had to do the, hey, we don't know what we're talking about. And then we get you on sex.
I did put you on the spot last night. I don't even know what time it was when I texted you. I was like, hey.
It was so fun because I was sitting with, we were sitting with friends. We had Jocelyn, who's been on your show.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I love Jocelyn.
She's one of our just dearest friends. We love her.
She's
and
local
Kim.
to Dallas?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So it popped up and I was like, I'm going to be on Lesbian Chronicles tomorrow. This is so fun. And then Christy looks right at me and goes, oh God, because she remembered what we talked about.
Does your partner get any feelings around, like sometimes my partner will have feelings around the podcast in general. Like she's just like, it puts you in this like exposed space of like, I don't know, women. Like, does she feel that at all? I'm curious.
The women part or the like exposing
I think exposing your stuff, but also just like it's jealousy.
People sliding in your DMs.
People sliding in my DMs, but I don't know if really always how to get to my DMs, so I don't think she has to worry.
She doesn't know how to get to her DMs. Oh my God.
So I don't think she has to worry too much about that. But yeah, does she ever like? It's not that my partner's not insecure, but it's like, God, I don't really like that you're just like out here talking to lesbians all day.
Well, she calls me in jest, but she calls me the leader of lesbians when I started Bloomers.
Right.
So that I have all of these newly out.
That's what I'm saying.
Maybe sexually charged in some way.
They are very sexually charged.
I do like talking about it. So I bring it up a lot in the group. And I think she's just used to it now.
Okay.
But in the beginning, it was a little intimidating.
Yeah, she's like, why are you turning on all these new lesbians?
Yeah, well, she might say it that way. I don't say it that way. But she, now it's just a joke. So she just left and said, okay, just so I can mentally prepare.
Yeah.
You're talking sex. And I said, we're talking sex, but it's a safe space. It's okay.
It is a safe space. And we can always do, I like to tell stories and then be like, hypothetically, a friend of mine wants to know.
Right.
So it doesn't even have to be about you personally. It might be about, whatever.
Yeah. Whatever.
Right?
Sex, whatever. I like talking about it. I don't mind talking about me personally because I like sex.
Yeah.
So it's fine.
I think this is like one of the big questions for people coming out. Like, and I just posted a video on our Instagram the other day from someone, a creator on TikTok, who was talking about how not all lesbians, but most lesbians initially are like bad at sex. And she's like, just get over it. Like you're not going to be great at it. And like, that's just how it is. Like not everybody just like instinctively knows what to do. Like it's a trial and error kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was like a really reassuring video.
Yeah.
I think I saw that. I agree.
Yeah. But I think it's like, for me, it's not really about being good or bad. I'm sure I'm both at times, but it's more about just, I have a lot of, did you say you did read the book, Come As You Are?
I'm sure. I don't think I've read it cover to cover.
Okay,
I know the book.
You should. It's so good. But it's more about like the brakes and the accelerators that people have. And I think when you're newly out, you do have a lot of brakes because you're scared. You're you're transitioning into a whole different person. So it's like, for me personally, my brakes would come on of like, oh my God, do I like this? I don't know. I think I do. Like, what am I doing? Am I like, my brain was going 100 miles an hour. So it's like, I've gotten to where I can now relax and like, it's much more enjoyable. But the early days, it was hard for me.
You were just in your head.
I was in my head all the time.
What's one of your breaks? Is that it?
all of everything. Just maybe even, am I good? Am I doing this right? Do I like this? God, am I gay? Maybe I'm not gay. I don't know if I like this. I do. I think I do. I mean, I remember actively being with my catalyst, so into her, and I still was like not enjoying the first time.
Mm-hmm.
It was I was the first time, like I remember being so anxious, and then I was anxious that like I don't know that I'm going to get off.
Well, like I'm not. Let's also rewind to your first time. Wasn't it on like a dirty couch with the lights on?
A dirty couch. It wasn't dirty, but it was like not
your home couch
environment. I like to think of
whose ass has been on this couch previously.
You are not a dirty couch kind of.
I'm not a dirty couch kind
Mine
of. Mine
was on a couch too.
It was on the couch, but it was just like I don't know. She did have
in the middle of the day.
And the lights were on. I was like, is this what's happening?
Are we doing this right now? Middle of the day? Now? Like, I would never have sex in the middle of the day with a man, not in a million years, unless I was like on spring break and drunk.
Right.
It's not happening.
So what's the difference between before and now? What's the difference in your
in my journey, like I have read it bothered me a lot. Like it bothered me enough that like even when I was with I've been with my partner now years, and I'm at the beginning, like it bothered me enough that sometimes I would not want to do it because I'm like, I feel like I'm not going to be able to get off. And then it's like, I'm stressed about that. And it's like, it would cause me such anxiety. I can't believe I'm saying all this. So she would be like, it's cool. Like, you don't have to, like, just relax and like whatever happens, happens. But for me, it was like so goal oriented. So I started like reading all these books. One of them was Come As You Are. I listened to podcasts. I like really like opened my mind to all these things, and it definitely helped me. And like now I think too, like getting to a space of like trust completely in her. Like I think I also was in my own anxious, like unsafe space in the early days of like all kinds of things. And I don't know, I couldn't like get into it. Even the woman I was with after my catalyst that was such a sweetheart, I would have like stress around the evening knowing it was going to end this way and thinking I've got to get my head right to be able to do this.
Wow, that's like the space I was in when I was married. It felt like where it was like the anxiety was hanging over me, like knowing like, okay, it's Saturday night. He's been out of town. Like I know that's what he's expecting. So,
but I wonder too, like toys, like Melissa has toys. I don't. So it's like, you sort of do have you have a crutch. In that, if you needed it, you do. We don't have any. So it's like I have to get off fully real.
That's a lot of pressure.
It's a lot of pressure. Many questions.
Okay, not that I'm asking you to describe your sex life.
No.
From your previous relationship, Chris, but I mean, is that a theme that went into your relationship now? This being in your head?
Well, no, because like I think when I was married, I had a vibrator, so it was like I never didn't,
and I did not.
Yeah, it's like the total opposite.
Wow.
And now,
so yours is around the orgasm.
Mine is around orgasm, and I could do. I'm okay now. I'm recovering.
But I think it's also good to be like, you don't have to finish every time.
You don't, but it's I want to.
You
like
want
I
to,
want,
of
and
course.
she wants me to. So, and I do. I would say now it's 9 out of 10 times I'm golden. But I think
why do you want to?
I just do. Like I feel like it's. I want to. I don't know why.
For yourself.
For myself. For myself and for her, for us, for everyone. I like that she does every time. She's batting 100%.
There could be other people in the room that that can be private. That's fine. But yeah, it's an important part of the experience for you.
Right. And maybe I think I was addicted to the vibrator, like through my marriage. So then when I came out and I'm like with someone who is like pretty anti-toy, then it was just like, oh my God, you've taken this away. I remember one of my friends once being like, what? Like I could never, how are you even doing it without one?
Yeah.
Like she couldn't even believe it and I'm like, wow,
was this a straight friend or?
Yeah, it was a straight friend. But so anyway, I don't know.
Well, I was
Tell me
addicted
about you.
to the vibrator too. I mean,
same.
in a way, I was addicted to being someplace else in my head.
Yes.
And so when I had help, either by myself or with my then husband, it was easier for me to go away.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's connected to the toy necessarily, but that's what I came into the relationship
Same.
with.
And maybe it's a focal point. Like it became a focal point for you. Like you could have this thing and then it's like, I'm not as much in my head because I'm focused on this thing, but
and the outcome of the thing.
Yeah. The outcome.
Well, it didn't. It was night and day. So I actually didn't have any issue staying present because, like we talk about all the time, like people say, it was coming into my body sexually for the very first time. I could do that by myself.
Yes.
I'm just going to say masturbation because we'll just say
Totally.
it to get it out of the way.
Yep.
But I could do it by myself
Yes.
and be very, I know it sounds interesting. I'm not going to judge it. Very comfortable being sexual with myself. Like I knew that was in me. I'm a very sexual person, but that did not come out, manifest in my relationship with my husband at all. So when I was up against a woman for the first time, literally, it was like, oh, this can come out now. This can be out. And then I didn't have to go anywhere.
Yeah. That's really interesting because I feel that way too. Like I was really good on my own. Like
I was really good on your own.
Yeah. Super satisfying.
So that's so interesting so why do you think that about the difference between being on your own and being able to like have pleasure?
Know. I wonder if it's because I don't feel anyone judging or like, or how long is this taking? There was zero pressure.
Mm-hmm.
But there's none.
There's none now.
There's none now, right?
Yeah.
I know that. I'm sure that there's no pressure.
There's
from
zero.
Maria.
Yeah.
So it's you believing that there's no pressure.
Yeah, it's like I had to get my brain to a place of complete and total let it go.
Yeah, and I think it's also like a lot of like undoing though.
Yeah, it is.
Like being in that state of like where you are having to like check out a little bit when you're sleeping with a man for all those years. Like it's hard to undo.
It is hard to undo. And I actually even Googled like, can you go so many years with a vibrator that it's like you've trained your body to like, this is how I do it? That? Yeah. Like I think, because it is a very different, it's better the way I love it now, but it's like, it's different. It's much, it's like you're driving a really fast car and then now I'm riding a bike to work. It's extremely satisfying to ride the bike. I
love the
but it's
analogy.
not driving the car. It's like a totally different thing. So it's like I wondered maybe I'm incapable.
But also
that is a great analogy.
It really is.
Look around and see the beauty.
Yes, it takes a little longer. Feel the wind in my hair.
But I feel like men almost like, men are there for their own satisfaction. Not all men, of course, but most men are there for their own satisfaction. And so when it comes to like you having your time, you feel this like pressure to like not take too long, and like that's what was always in my head was like, like I better like hurry up so he doesn't have to take too much time doing whatever.
Enter the vibrator.
But I was doing that without a vibrator.
Were you worried about his masculinity around being able to make you have an orgasm?
I think it's more so like part of me did want it to be over like quickly,
Yeah.
But also, and if he knew that I wasn't going to finish, then it was going to be like this determination for me to finish,
which is even more pressure.
Which is more pressure, and it's just like sometimes you just want to like go to bed.
Yeah,
like,
be done with this.
Yeah. I had an opposite. I would just say I had an opposite. Well, I'm not going to say it's unusual because I've talked to a lot of women now, and I know that it happens. But I was the initiator in my previous marriage. I mean, I was the one that was more sexually. I
was the gatekeeper.
Yeah. So I did not get asked. I mean, it wasn't like it was more often that I got turned down.
Wait a minute, from your
really?
husband?
Wow.
Oh man, does he have regrets?
That was just no. I don't know. We never really talked.
I mean, feelings around like shit. Maybe here all this time she was trying to have sex with me, and now I don't know. She's done with me.
It was more of like I could see myself as the sexual person. So this is what I would do. I would see myself as a sexual person, and obviously I loved him. I mean, I still love him in the exact same way that I did then, which is what is the part of the problem, because it's better to love him just parenting with him than being married to him. But I would blame him. I would act like I, wanted to, in the way of blaming him for never initiating. Like, you never initiate. And I would resent him. So that was my role in it. And I was the victim. But it was confusing in my mind.
Yeah.
Because, or I made myself the victim. It was confusing because I'd go out with friends and they'd be like, oh, when I get home, I have to give so-and-so a blowjob because I've been out for so long. And I'm looking at them like, I don't understand what you're talking about.
Yeah. Right.
So then I thought that, it must be me in a way. I must.
But wait, why would he, like, what would he say to your trying?
It's just that he didn't
I'm tired. I don't feel like it.
Yeah, the same thing that we say, which again, a lot of this is not that uncommon. It's just that it's easier to talk about the, did you listen to the We Can Do Hard Things when Sister Amanda talked about this?
No.
She talked about that her husband did not necessarily want to have sex with her and that it was sort of shameful for her because
all men do stereotypically.
Her previous marriage, not the current one, because all men do, and that's just the way it is. So, but now when I look back on it, I think, why the fuck would he wanted to have sex with me? I was judgmental and, accusatory and angry. Who would have wanted to have sex with me? The dynamic, it worked for me. It worked for me because I kept him at bay.
Mm-hmm. You didn't have to do it, but you could act like you would wanted to, so it's not your fault.
So then it's his fault.
So it's not my fault. So I used that. Yeah, I used that a lot in the divorce conversations until I remember one meeting he finally said, don't use that against me anymore. Like that conversation is done. That is not the reason for the divorce. That's not and it was really good to hear that. It snapped me out of it.
Yeah.
Snapped me out of it. So,
yeah, it's like
anyway,
enough already.
But now it is, it's not even comparable. One of the things I think is that I have a pretty masculine energy sexually, and I think I didn't know what to do with that. Being married to a man,
I relate to that.
Yeah. So tell me about that. Because
I
keep thinking about this.
I think, and this is just, you're sparking this in me, so this is me just free flowing with it. But that's been one of the more shocking things to me is that in bed with a woman, I am a lot more aggressive, the masculine one, I guess.
Yeah.
For lack of a better terminology. And when I was with men, I was a lot more of the pursuer because to me, it was kind of like a game. Like, can I win this game? And, now this wasn't the case throughout my marriage. Like I was not an initiator, but definitely like when I was first dating, some men or even with my then boyfriend who turned into my husband, I was definitely like very sexual, but in my mind, it was like, it's a game. You got to win. And,
like you're just a character in the game. It's not,
and like being
you're doing what you're supposed to do, stereotypically, like this hot girl who wants to have
and
sex.
I was a little bit older than him, so it kind of, and he was like less experienced than me, so it was kind of like it gave me this like one up, like level up.
Okay, but in your relationship now, who initiates more?
I'd say it's it's both of us.
Yeah.
Like
equal.
It's not, it's equal. It's not like one or the other.
How about you?
It's pretty equal. My role is more of I'm more, she's pretty posy too. I mean, we're both kind of, we're hands-on a lot during the day in the kitchen. We're very physical with each other and pretty flirtatious, and have gotten caught many times by the children. We're in the kitchen and having, kind of talking really close and kissing. And I went to put my hands on her boobs. Right.
Yeah.
And we hear this, I'm right here.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Our 12-year-old
our house all the time.
doing homework at the table. And there's just moments where you get caught, but it's great. I love that they get to see that.
I know,
not
it's like you want that for them. I don't even mind the boobs part.
I think that is important because I didn't grow up seeing affection between my parents, and I used to think about that when I was married. I was like, we might hug occasionally, you know, that kind of thing. But I was very like, okay, like time's up for the hug. Time's up. Time's up. Can't lead to
My
something
skin's
more.
crawling.
You know.
Yeah.
But I think it's great for kids to see that, like to an extent, of course. But
we have so many stories of teaching them showing them what a vibrator is. Did I talk about that?
Oh my
For
God,
lunch?
your
To
kids?
what age? This is something that I've thought about a lot. What age?
She's almost 13, so she would have been 11 probably at the time, 10 or
Okay.
11.
How did this come up?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
how did this come up? Oh, I can tell you how it ended. It ended with us talking about I think a show was on. I think that's what it was. We were all watching some kind of show and it came on about, I think it was porn. I think we had to kind of explain. I mean, we weren't watching porn, but I mean,
No.
something about the show came up and sex toys came up, like a sex shop. And then we had to explain what sex toys were. So then we said it was a vibrator, and then they asked more questions. Well, we got to the point where we were describing it in a way that they were thinking it was some huge kind of scary object. And Christy said something like it's not like, I think somebody compared it to a gun in some way. I'm butchering this story.
Whoa.
But then Christy said, well, it's sort of like that, because I guess if you throw it at somebody, it's, you know, it might scare them.
Oh my God. Yeah. Someone breaks in, you just start throwing vibrators.
So then
at
I
them.
realized that I was probably damaging them. And I came into my daughter's room and because it's probably it's like the size of a mouse, the one we use, you know, it's a little bullet thing. And I said, okay, I want to show you something. And I just had it in my hand. I said, this is a vibrator. See, it's not scary, just this little thing. You can use it with a partner. You can use it by yourself. Get older. It feels good. This is it. And that was the extent of it.
Yeah.
Just kind of showing them, because she had questions.
Yeah.
So we talk about all
appropriate.
this stuff and we're pretty open with it. But it was still an adjustment, because yes, they never saw that with their dad. Ever.
Right. And then it's like these girls don't have any power around their own sexuality. Like I like that
so important.
it's so fucking important. Like you're growing up thinking you're just waiting for this man to bring you pleasure or something. It's so weird and gross. And it's like, I don't want that for my daughter.
Like, no one explained sex to me.
No.
Like, it was all stuff that I learned from my friends.
I learned
at the time we didn't have the internet, you know. Like,
my friend Carrie, if she's that old friend from grade school, and actually her mother just passed away, but her mother's vibrator Carrie's mom's vibrator is like, I remember in 6th grade.
Oh,
like we
my
all
God.
were like at a sleepover there, passing it around, and like it was a whole thing. And I remember getting such an education on.
Damn.
Yeah.
Did you know? Did they explain it? Is that what it was?
Yeah,
was
like
just
she
object?
found her. She knew. Carrie knew what this was and was just like, "Oh my God, this is." I think we might have been 6th. I think it was 6th grade. It might have been 7th, but like literally, we passed it around. It was really like it was white. Like it wasn't even like a fun vibrator.
One of those like big massager ones.
It was like no, it was just like a size of a dick with like batteries in it.
Oh my God!
And I just remember like realizing how awesome that was, and then it was just.
Especially with all the women in the room.
And all these women in the room. One of them I had a massive crush on. I mean, it was just, things were really good for me at the sleepover.
Yes, I guess they were. Yeah. I guess they were really good.
Exactly.
We had the opposite. So I cleaned out my mother-in-law passed away a couple weeks ago, and I was cleaning out her room last night for Christy because it was too hard for her. And I knew where she kept her vibrator. Okay, this is a 68-year-old woman, and I knew where she kept her vibrator. That was the first thing I ever gave her. My future mother-in-law.
Oh my God.
Was a vibrator. This
Holy
little
shit.
bullet thing.
Coming in
because she said she had one a long time ago. Somehow the conversation came up, and she said, my daughter won't get me one. So
and is Christy like, oh my God?
Oh, she's mortified.
Yeah.
I mean, this is an extremely sexually open, mature woman, mortified to talk about it in front of her mother, which I can understand.
Oh my
God. So this was always Rosemary and my thing, where I'd I had to get her another one because she said she burnt the first one out, but it was because she couldn't figure out how to turn it off.
So she says.
So she says.
Well, I'm on to you, Rosemary.
She had
suitors
coming over.
We called her low grade cranky. So I tell you, she's not having an orgasm a day because she would have been a little
happier.
Yeah. But I found it last night and I told Christy, I said, well, I found the vibrator and I said, and there was just 1 second where I thought, God, this is a shame to throw this away.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God.
I think that one needs to go.
Yeah, it's got to go.
Looking at your face, Melissa. Yeah. Oh, it went for sure. But it did. It felt so wasteful. But what are you going to do? I think every new partner
deserves a new vibrator.
Probably a refresh is a good thing.
Yeah.
I've only had one partner. So I mean, I don't know what other people do. Have you guys refreshed?
I know, but it's not that expensive.
Well, I'm thinking more so like the other toys. Like those
okay. I wouldn't know. What do I know? Because I don't have any.
But I've had people. Oh my God, I don't know if I should talk about
and
this.
whatever you're comfortable saying with Marina. I mean, I know I don't want to.
I have never had anyone say, where did that come from and who else has used it? But people have asked, is it clean? Yes, it's clean, of course. You run them through the dishwasher. You can boil them, like all that stuff. So, and like I said, they're expensive. So to be buying one, like now I've been in a much more long-term relationship. Now it would be more feasible. But, I think as long as it's clean, like the vibrator thing, I think is a little different though. I will say that because that's a little bit like you can't run it through the dishwasher or boil it, like, so it's a little bit harder to truly cleanse.
Do you feel, I'm going to ask a very personal question, which you don't have to answer, but do you, well, this is not the personal question. Do you use a strap-on? I mean, that is, but.
Oh my God. This is not a personal question. Do you use a strap-on?
The personal part of it was, do you feel connected to it? Is it like a part of you?
Oh, no. I wouldn't say I feel connected. No, I've used one. It's not that frequent that it's used, but.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Maria would die.
Literally would fall I feel pretty connected to mine.
You do?
I feel like it's,
I guess I haven't really thought about it, but I don't know.
How often would you do it like, I don't want to say normal, there's no normal, but how often would you guys do it with zero toys? Like just you two?
We always use a toy.
Always, every time.
Unless we always use a little bullet.
Yeah.
What about if you didn't?
Melissa?
Like sometimes, like we forgot to pack ours.
Yeah, but then
is it like went on a trip, and it was just kind of like it was a little bit like,
That's what I'm saying.
like but we were fine. But there was definitely like initially we're like, you didn't pack it,
That's what I mean.
It's sad when it gets forgotten. But it's still
it's like we left our pet at home.
But I wonder though if you were like us and you never had one, if it does get you, I'm just hoping that like it does get you into a creative, like I don't know, like the sex is different.
Yeah. I mean, I think it can be a little bit of a crutch,
Yeah.
But also we're busy people with.
I know, that's the problem. I hear that. But it is like you have to cuddle and like stare at each other and like get completely connected.
But all that still happens.
But then it's like, I don't know how I'm into it. I would like a toy, but my partner hates them. But it's like to look, I don't know. There is something she's right about in that it's like it breaks for us. Like if I were to be like, okay, like now we're going to get this thing in the middle of us. I don't know. I feel what she's saying.
Like it feels like a little awkward.
It's just like it's not, I don't know. Our bodies are.
I've never felt like awkward about it, like to grab it. I don't know. Have you?
Yeah.
Julia?
Like if you're being intimate and the toys aren't out and then you have to go get them?
Yeah.
No, I just usually, I can't always prep, but I try to prep. Like the other day, I stuck a couple vibrators under the couch cushion and some lube and
ready.
Whipped it out.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Looky here.
See, I would die laughing in that situation if that happened. Like I would laugh for like an hour afterward.
Oh, if Marina planned that.
If she planted vibrators in the couch and then was suddenly like, ta-da.
Oh,
Like,
my,
Oh yeah, I
what
told her
just
take your.
happened
I said,
here?
I was very directive. She needed. She's had a hard time.
she needed to
lately.
pick me up.
She picked me up. Oh my god.
Yeah. So I was directive, but I think it's just about being. Now I'm a little bit. I'll just talk body stuff. I'm bigger than she is, especially now because she's a griever that doesn't eat, and I don't quite understand that, but I love it for her. It's just as long as we're both healthy, which we are. But I'm an eater when I'm grieving, so I'm not feeling the most confident in my body right now, I would say, which I talked to her about that, and it's good. But I don't think right now I'd come out like with my D,
With my D on.
and like face her. And
Yeah.
I don't think I would be able to. Normally,
interesting. Yeah.
I can. Normally, I can, but just like my belly kind of hangs over the strap, and I have to feel
Good. You have to feel
Yeah.
sexy.
feel good and sexy in it, and so most often I do. But that's a pretty big deal with strap-ons and toys and things. It's this foreign thing.
Mm-hmm.
And
Even just getting getting KY is like a thing. Like it's not a thing. Like we definitely use it all the time, but it's not like even the stopping to do that. It's like we're in this deep, thoughtful moment, and then it's like, oh wait.
Mm-hmm.
can you come in and out of it? Can you and remind?
No,
bring me back
because
to
see,
KY in a second.
I'm different from y'all in that I know this about Melissa for sure. I think it's probably true about you. I'm a overthinker, analyzer, numbers. I'm not like you guys. I'm not like Maria. Maria is very chill. She got in the shower with me today, and she would have happily done it right then and there with the kids with play dates down in our living room, and she wouldn't have thought a thing of it. It would have been no problem for her.
I would have had it.
And she would 100% have gotten off. There would be no issue. I'm like, are you seriously in here with me? I can hear the boys and their friends.
Yeah, I don't think I can do that.
And the puppy. We have a puppy that's like getting into shit right outside the door too. So I've got that. The puppy's destroying stuff. I hear the boys. A mom is going to be showing up soon for pickup, and she's literally naked in the shower going for it.
So there's no thrill. Like the thrill doesn't.
It doesn't do it for me.
Not,
no. I am thinking all the time at every moment. I wish I wasn't. It's my worst quality. So I know this about myself. I have some really like things happening at work right now that are good and hard though. And I bring it home. So like last night I knew I'm barely going to sleep. I have a lot on my plate right now. And so I took something. Like that's how my mind is. It sucks. And so I can't just chill in the moment.
What if, and that's fine. There's nothing, there's nothing wrong about that, about needing to be in a specific
space,
place and mind frame. But what if Maria, if she initiated and you, in that moment where you have a lot in your head, and have you tried to see what would happen
if I just relaxed into it?
If she, not because you need to, but I'm just curious if that, if your mind, you can get to a place of, if it calms you down even a little bit or settles your body after an orgasm. But
I can't do it. Like today, there was no way. I mean, she knew it. Like she was going for it.
You were a little late. Are you sure you're not?
But there are times like I will, like we'll go to bed and she'll like have a candle lit. Like she knows she's setting us up for me to be successful in putting this stuff away. I do, and we do it a ton. But it's like I definitely have to have it in my brain. I'll even sometimes do, there's this thing called Dipsy. Have you heard of this? No. It's the company that I wish I would have started, that I used to talk to you about starting. But it's like to even like listen to a sexy story. It's like not porn, but it's like to get my brain thinking sex, expecting sex, so that I'm like, can kind of go there and put the other stuff away. That works for me. Mm-hmm. Like I'll start being like excited about it, and then it's much easier for me to connect and relax
into it. What about just straight porn? I like it. I do too, but I don't,
we're prudes, I guess. Maria, I'm making Maria seem like such. She
You're
wouldn't
not a
love
prude.
that.
You are
she
not a
wouldn't
prude.
love that, so I can't love it. I could, but to lay next to someone who I can tell is like rolling their eyes at porn, I'm not enjoying the porn.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
that would not be.
Like, no.
But that's not being a prude. That's
No, it's
just
not
your
being. It's
preference.
right.
That's just your preference.
Probably more her preference, and so it's not that. I could watch it by myself.
Yeah. Melissa, do you?
I will
Incorporate?
sometimes, but
You look like a porn watcher.
I do. Cool.
How about you guys? And what's your porn of choice?
Gay men.
What?
I like the Bears.
The Bears.
Really?
I've heard this about a lot of
Yeah.
lesbians,
Wait,
like
gay men?
So I'm going to say what I've heard,
I mean-
and let me know
Yes.
if you think this is the case. What I have heard is that why lesbians tend to like gay male porn is because they are a lot more authentic in what's happening. Like so much lesbian porn is very like male gaze. Yeah, very over the top. And it's like, are these people really wanting to do this? Like, have they been kidnapped? Have they been drugged? Like, how did they get here? And like gay men, it's like, it's a lot more authentic.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's interesting.
I would agree. And with the hairy, bigger bear guys, I mean, it's not that I'm exclusive to them. I venture out, I like
This
a
is
little
unbelievable.
ass. I like a little, female ass. I like things. But with them, they're so comfortable in their bodies. There's no body shame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like touching each other, and there's hair and fat and different things. And there's something very, very
like they're very
hot
into each other, and
about that to me.
Enjoying
and then the energy of it, like just to see that male energy.
What about is your partner? That's fine with her?
Oh yeah, she loves it too.
Yeah.
We call it tandem.
Tandem.
some nights where we don't need hours and hours, or we don't have hours and hours, and let's put on a little porn. We each have a vibrator, lay next to each other. We call it tandem.
Nice.
Oh my God, this is unbelievable.
Sorry,
you
honey.
guys
This is where you can turn it off.
No, I want to turn it on.
This is where she can
I
turn it off.
can't wait to tell Maria this because this is
Yeah,
like
and it's just
unbelievable.
hot.
Yeah.
Because you're both experiencing it at the same time, but you're taking care of yourself, but then you're kind of helping each other. It's just kind of
Nice.
Yeah. What was I going to ask?
Do you guys ever do role playing?
No,
No.
I don't, because it's still, what are we? Almost 4 years in, it still feels like a fantasy to me. It still feels so. I don't need, not need, because that's not the right word. It just doesn't work for me to be anybody else than me. Like, I waited a long time.
Yeah, and then it's like one more thing I got to worry about. Am I doing the acting right? Is my acting
You lose track of your character.
Yeah. It's more of like who's going to take on the like we've said, like the more maybe dominant or who's gonna, that sort of a thing, as opposed to a different person. But so Melissa, this is your longest relationship, right? With a woman? You're at over a year?
No, my first one was a little over, or I think it was close to a year and a half. I can't remember.
Okay.
Well, they might be about the same right now. But yeah.
And
this is my longest like true relationship though, where it's like we're definitely like both in it. My first girlfriend was seeing someone else during that duration, so it's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
But
and Marina had been out
her
whole life.
Not her whole life.
Okay.
She was also married to a man like right out of like in her very early 20s. But it was like a short marriage, and then right after that started dating women. So she's been out and with women since like 23-ish probably.
Oh, yeah.
A lot her life. Yeah.
That's same with Christy.
And was with a long-term partner for like 18 years.
Oh, 18 years. It's a long time. So I hear a lot about people having insecurities around not matching up in length of time.
Yeah.
Of being out sexually.
Meaning that, wait, if you're out longer, do you think you tend to be, you're more over it? Or you're like, who's...
person that hasn't been out as the newly out person
Yeah.
feels insecure because their partner who's been out longer has had more partners, more experience. So like when I met Christy, I had never been with a woman other than one kiss in college that I always have to thank her. Thank you, Leslie. But that is, our boyfriends were there, so I don't even really count it.
But you still think about it.
I thought, this is just like kissing another human being. It was so soft, and it really surprised me. Even as a 19-year-old, I thought, oh my gosh, there's this whole other half of the population that I don't think I was thinking that I could be sexual with, but it was fascinating to me that I enjoyed it.
That's really interesting.
It just kind of blew my mind. Like, this feels like kissing a person. Like, I don't know what I thought it was supposed to feel like. I think I had probably the internalized homophobia stuff before I even knew I was gay, that it would be gross or uncomfortable.
Huh.
And it wasn't.
I have a similar, I was in my 30s, like early 30s, going on a business trip with my husband, and he had like a conference in Las Vegas with a bunch of his office people. And they had this party, and there was a woman that worked at his company who were like, obviously everyone's drinking, dancing, and she was like putting her hand up my shirt. I'm not kidding. While I'm dancing, but while like my husband's here, and his coworkers that are like, I don't know, but I remember being so like crushing on her hard, like intrigued by it. And nobody knew she was doing this. Like my husband didn't even know. But I remember like the next day, like we're waking up at this hotel and thinking, now I got to run into her. She knows, I know. I'm kind of into her at this point. And just it weighed on me of how much I was thinking about her. Like I even like after we got back to Atlanta, it's like this woman was like heavy on my mind. But it to your point, like something. I thought it shifted something in me. I even came home. I told my best friend, and like I've got a massive crush. Whatever time it was when that Katy Perry song "I Kissed a Girl" was kind of popular, and I remember my friend kept like singing that to me.
Oh my
like
God,
messing with me. But it was like I thought about this woman constantly.
Wow,
for a while.
Where is she now?
Yeah.
Who knows?
She listen?
I doubt it.
But the difference in experience is very challenging for people. I think it's almost better. I'm just saying this out loud. I'm like Melissa, you said, I'm just thinking about this out loud, but I think it's almost better not to have as much experience, because then you're really, I guess it'd be like being an artist and having one particular way that you paint, right? You're sort of used to that, as opposed to going into the studio and there's endless options and you just have to
do what feels good,
feel it out. And I'm very it is there when I'm being intimate with my wife, I'm not thinking technically. I'm not thinking first you're supposed to do this and then you're supposed to do this and you're supposed to, I'm thinking, I'm just paying attention to her body. And I've had to do that because I didn't know. I mean, I knew what I might like, but I didn't know how to do things. So from the first sexual experience, that's what it's been. Melissa, you're
it hasn't been an issue for her, like having like quote more experience than me, like it's never come up.
No, for you.
I don't think it's bothered her at all either.
I read all these things, and what do you identify as? You bottom, or you mask, femme, obviously all the different things. And I think this probably comes from a place of privilege. I'm going to say this comes from a place of privilege because I'm only marginalized. I've only been marginalized for 4 years, but before that, I never experienced it. So I'm owning that this comes from privilege, white privilege, all the things that I don't know, the titles and the roles. It just doesn't seem as important to me as the connection. with somebody, like each person I would think would be a different kind of connection than what you always category you always fall into, or how you always see yourself.
But
Does
do
that
you,
make sense? You know what
yeah,
I'm saying?
but Julia, like you hear about women who like can just go have a one night stand or go home with someone because, oh, it just feels good. So I'm going to go home and we're going to have this experience and it's going to be great. I'm not one of those people that could ever do that because I have to feel completely safe and connected. Could you have a sexual experience, even maybe with your partner you're not 100% connected. You're, you got a lot going on. You're going to just still do it because you love her and you want to. But you're not, could you get there without the connection?
I've never experienced that without the connection. I just haven't, which I'm very fortunate.
Yeah.
I'm not exaggerating when I say that. Now, I understand that from my previous marriage. I understand what that is. And in a way, it always brought, this is what I enjoyed about sex with a man, I guess I'd say. It always made me feel closer to him.
Yeah.
At the end, afterwards. It was always like, okay, I feel closer to you now.
Yeah.
I sort of needed that connection. But it didn't have anything to do with the pleasure of it. It's just the connection of it. Now that connection it's just is always there.
Easy.
I don't.
How long have you guys been together?
4 years this winter.
Do you ever have
Beginning of the year.
dry spells?
No.
Never.
Still the honeymoon stage?
We're still, yeah.
Oh.
We are, yeah. I mean, it just is. We talk about it. I have said a lot. It's fine if this ends. This feeling, this streak. And she says, "Why does it have to?"
It doesn't. Yeah.
So I think we operate like that. We take it. It's a priority, not sex, but the connection, the telling each other in the kitchen, like, grabbing somebody's, I should say grabbing, lightly caressing someone's butt, telling each other, texting, sexy things, telling each other we think the other person's beautiful because I'm just wildly attracted to her. Which I actually was working with somebody and she asked me, she said, "Does your wife ever get jealous?" Which we started this talking about. And I said, no, she makes jokes about the women that not jokes, but that I work with a lot of newly out women. But it doesn't even occur to me. It doesn't occur to me because the connection is so strong that I don't even think about it with other people.
Yeah, you're in your relationship faithfully. It's like not even on your radar. Yeah.
And
I relate to that.
I understand other people being having those kind of feelings. Anyway, what else?
Well, I was going to say about the connection. What else about sex? The connection thing. Things. It's kind of interesting to think about because, like, even just like a few days before I met Marina, I was saying, like, I can't imagine meeting someone right now and feeling in any way connected to them, to where I would want them to, where I'd want to sleep with them. Like that doesn't seem like even remotely possible right now. And then I met her, and like the next day, the day after we met, she stayed at my place, and we didn't sleep together or have sex that night because I was like, I want to know you
because you were watching the goats on. You guys were watching the yoga
on
goats.
YouTube. I took her home to watch the fainting
goats.
ghosts. I was trying to buy time, like in any way I could, because she was like all about it, and like I was just like, chill, like I like you and I want to know you. I didn't want to have a one night stand, and I wasn't sure what was on her agenda. Like why my brain could not compute anything that night. It was literally like, do you like me? Like, do you like me for tonight? Do you like me for this weekend? Like, or are we going to like actually get to know each other and date? And so I kept saying like, I want to know you. Like I want to go on a date before anything like truly physical happens. But I will say that I felt very like connected to her that night. Like, and it was just shocking to me. Like here I was a few days before saying, I don't feel like I can be connected to anyone. And then here I am. So it's amazing like how quickly that can all.
I guess that's a good message
place.
too to our listeners.
Yeah.
That, like, everything can change in a minute.
Right.
Yeah, we're grown ass women, people, humans. You know, I say that a lot. If you're a grown ass woman, you can do. Like I would have said to you, or would have asked you, why, if you were feeling the connection, other than wanting to get to know her, what was the
because
reason for waiting?
I mean, in all honesty, I think with my last relationship before her, I should have waited and gotten to know that person better, like before doing anything physical. And I think it put us in a spot where we got into a relationship too quickly. And reflecting back, it progressed too quickly. We should have gotten to know each other better.
The physical part
progressed too quickly.
Progressed too quickly into the emotional connection.
And I think you also had on your radar that Melissa and I have a really good friend who is in a long-term serious relationship that they'd purposefully waited.
Although they waited 6 weeks. I couldn't do that. I knew that.
To ever do anything.
But
they swear by it.
They do.
They think it's like the best thing ever. I don't know what I think. But
I will say though that night, like, because we kissed for the first time at MSR, the lesbian bar here in Atlanta, and like we literally had people coming up to us and asking how long we'd been together.
Yeah,
because people could just tell like how connected we were. Like they thought we'd been together for years, and the same thing happened on that Melissa Etheridge cruise. And it's just like you can see it. You know,
you could see it. I remember those pictures. You could definitely see it when in the on the stairs.
Oh yeah,
you guys on the
I love
stairs.
that picture.
Yeah.
I was so happy when you met her.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah.
But if you want, if that emotional connection is important, then of course, then I understand why people wait. I think I just feel like we've done the thing about the rules. You know, we grew up with rules, and we grew up with this idea that this is what you're supposed to do. Good girls wait, or there's this formula, and I just don't think that there's a formula. I think it's whatever works for you. So on night one, if that works for you,
Maria and I did it our first date.
Really?
Yeah.
Which for you to say that is interesting because
it is. It's totally unlike me. Now
you have to be.
But I think you knew that it was going to be there was longevity.
Literally, the day I met her, I know I tell the story all the time. Got down on my knees, prayed alone in my room.
No, I've never heard that.
Her. Yeah, met her. Was out with Melissa that night. Met Maria. Came home alone. Got on my knees.
She used those Catholic
hands
powers.
Together, and said,
I'm such a good girl.
I've been, please let me have this woman and I'm perfect. Like,
so how did you get out of your head that first?
I don't know. I guess because we had texted so much, and like, then we had this date. I was drinking. I mean, there's so many things looking back that I'm like, and I think too, we had a lift home from our date that was like this really good warm up to getting to my place.
So I almost get kicked out of the lift.
We did.
Yeah.
So I had all this time to like get my body right to get home. So I don't know. I think all that.
Yeah.
So what was the difference between that then and now? Like if you started off in the morning now.
We do. Yeah. Like I think the same thing. Instead of being in a lift, like doing that, we work on it before. Like you said, you know, we're very touchy too. So that happens. But then also I think just getting in bed earlier and like taking the time to like hold each other, look at each other, you know, even like last night it was freezing in our room, but like I took my sweats off to get in the bed and like my skin on her legs watching TV is like hot to me.
Yeah.
Like that feels good to me and kind of gets my head in the right space. So, but it's not, I don't know. Those are the kind of thoughtful things that I need first. I can't just like she jumps in the shower and is like, "Hey, we have 2 minutes. Let's go."
I don't think I could do the 2 minute thing. Like
she's
that's
like
tough.
A man in that way.
Because I'd be like, I don't know. I'd be too pressured.
Yeah, it's totally pressured.
Yeah.
Anyway,
to have her get off.
No. Yeah, both. like to be on like a time crunch. Like
Well,
that feels
especially,
like a lot.
And she knows it is, so she like fucks with me. So she's gonna go start. You can do it. You can do
Come
it.
on.
Come on.
But what if it's like what we've been talking about, and the shower is just foreplay for
It could
the
be,
next
but
day?
it would
I
have
know
taken
it
me.
could be. Yeah.
Yeah, the shower's gonna be foreplay for tonight.
or next week or anything.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just a
Yeah.
it's just a moment. It's just a
Yes.
one moment together. And if an orgasm happens, great. And if it doesn't,
I
It's
honestly, I think that the way that you felt with that situation is probably more so like that heteronormativity that we
Yeah.
feel still within us. Like, you know, if that had been your ex-husband
Ugh,
and like
yeah.
the feeling of being
I mean, it's like I don't want to do. Yeah, I
of
didn't
him
feel like I
being
didn't
in
wanna
there
do
and
it.
like feeling pressured, you know?
Yeah, it's like I gotta.
But
do
it's
this.
like Julia's saying, it's like that was just a buildup, you know?
Yeah.
Like make out a little bit in the shower and then move on with your day.
Totally.
And it, you know, pack it up for later.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's healthy.
Yeah.
I like it.
it's very healthy.
On that
It's
note,
very-
Unless I'm like, I need to shave my legs and I don't have much time. And if you really want to have sex tonight, like pick
it's so
one.
funny. I just said that to her the other day. I'm like, I remember when we were first together, like I would literally shave all the time. I would like, my bush was perfection. I mean, professional perfection. And
Yeah.
now it's
I
like,
can imagine it, Allie. I can totally
because
imagine
I'm a controller. Because I'm a controller. Like I'm gonna set this up so perfectly.
Oh my God.
And now I literally said to her, I'm like,
Got
do
the
you
little
even-
scissors.
Do we ever? I don't even shave my legs anymore. I mean, it has to be like massive for me to get shaved.
Really?
I mean,
Are
maybe
you one of those
once
people
a
that like
week.
just doesn't have a lot of hair?
Maybe I don't have a lot of hair, but I
Like-
definitely. I mean, I don't. I
You
wouldn't
would
shave
think I was
more than once a
Italian
week.
based on my leg hair. That's real sexy. Maybe I'm gonna cut that out.
Exactly.
no. It's just your body. It's normal.
Yeah,
I
it's
think it's hot when she does something to herself or for herself because she wants to look or feel a certain way with me. There's something very, very
Yeah.
hot about that in an incredibly gender normative way, right? Like
Yeah.
the woman being sexually attractive to her partner and doing, but it means she's thinking about me. I think
Totally.
that's what it is. Like, I don't give a fuck if she shaves her legs or whatever she
Yeah.
does, but there's something about the act of,
Pleasing you.
yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
totally. I
Of-
get that.
of having to be a priority of how she feels.
Yes.
So she feels good and better, and she's doing that in part for us, and that's
Totally.
hot to me.
Yeah. Even on not, I mean, Maria will say to me when we're getting ready, like, what do you want me in tonight? Like, what do you want me to wear? And it's like sweet. Like, I don't think of it as like makes her like submissive. Like, to me, it's like there's something so beautiful about, and she'll say, I only care what you think. Like, what do you want me in? And
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something sexy about the confidence in even asking me that.
Yeah. So we're going into a new year. You have any 2023
Oh,
sexual goals?
sexual goals.
Yeah,
for
let's all. That's a
2023.
good
Oh
way.
my God.
Actually, that's because we're in an hour, so we're gonna have to wrap. Let's
Yeah.
go around and give our sexual goals
Oh
for
my God, I don't
2023.
know.
Let's start with you, Julia.
Okay, I'm gonna have to make it up. I mean, it'll be true, but I haven't thought about it. I would. So what would be a goal?
I know. That's what I'm thinking while you're thinking.
Okay, well, personally, it would be to be comfortable in my body.
Right.
I mean, I am comfortable, but more comfortable
You
in
look
my body.
amazing, but I know that feeling. Yeah.
I feel that.
Yeah, and to be able to continue to be able to talk to her about it, because there's been times where I'll move a certain way. So, like before, we would hug, okay, and I knew how that felt. Now we hug, and I kind of have to move my belly to the side. A little bit. It's like we haven't talked about this at all, but I'm like, oh, and it's sort of a sideways.
That is funny. I don't believe that.
because I don't want her to feel my belly. Now that is totally my stuff, and I would like to, even when she touches me in places that I'm not real. I guess it's really my belly right now. Even when she touches me there, I find myself tensing up,
I feel that. Yeah.
and I
like-
want to just kind of
Chill into it.
relax
can, like,
into
read it
and
on me.
believe
Yeah.
her. Yeah,
and she'll
exactly.
be
It's-
like, "You've had babies. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like, come on, cut
And
yourself some
that's
slack.
Yeah, you've had
Like,
baked
yeah.
beanies and Fritos, you know, a lot of Fritos. And
Cheese
it's
dip
just where
and
I'm
burritos.
Cheese dip.
just where I'm at right now. So body confidence, I'm gonna say that. So Allie?
I love that. Mine is going to be to really try to not, like in the shower today, I didn't shut it down, but I definitely didn't entertain the idea that maybe. And I think like it's okay to entertain the idea of like, let it go as far as it's going to go. I don't need to get off. She probably would have. So let it just go.
Yeah.
Don't start shutting it. Don't the minute she gets in there be like, babe,
What are you doing?
what are you doing in here? Like, come on. Like, I can be more fun. I know I can be more fun. I can be more fun.
and the being more fun would do what?
I think if I can relax, like I think the more that I do that, the easier it is to kind of start to be like, wait, because there is times that I totally chill into it, and then I'm like, damn, that ended up being amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, it happened the other day, right in the middle of the day. Like she was working from home and I was working from home, and it ended up being like I told her that was like maybe in my top 5
Yeah.
of like really great ones that I normally would have been like, just tonight we'll do it.
Yeah.
You didn't think that you could get there.
I didn't think I could get
But
there, and I did. So
and
I
you did.
think, yeah.
I know we're wrapping, but I just want to ask, what if you didn't get there? What if you started
Yeah, I think
and you
that would have
didn't
been
get there? How would you?
totally okay.
I think,
I
giving
just
yourself
have to give
permission to
myself-
not get there.
Yeah,
You know?
right.
And letting her know that,
Yeah.
right? In
For
the
sure.
moment, or just sort of having a way of being in it if you want to be in it, and then if you're having your head gets in the way, just being able to say that
Yeah.
my head's too loud.
Right.
My head's too
But I'm
loud.
still
let's
enjoying
pick this
it.
up.
My head's too
But
loud.
the truth is, it still feels good. Like it's even when my head is loud and I know that it's not going to happen, and let's be clear, like I've gotten really good at it does happen 100% of the time because I figure it out. But it's like, I think that, even if it, I'm going and going and going and I'm starting to stress, like, holy shit, I feel bad. This is taking forever. I still enjoy it the whole time.
Sure. Well, it's probably a combo, a little bit of PTSD from previous
Total
relationships
PTSD,
where
yeah.
it does feel good physically. It's not that
Yeah.
it doesn't feel good physically, but you're not in it emotionally because of whatever reason.
Too many other
I had
things.
my reasons in my previous marriage.
Yeah.
And that, it's not a good
No.
feeling. So
Totally.
Melissa,
How about you?
Okay, so this is going to sound weird, but
Mike,
to
Lena,
have
are you
sex
listening?
more
Chad?
often when my kids are at home.
Yeah.
Like that sounds weird, but we
Because,
rarely have sex when my kids are home because we've had a few instances where like my door at my old place wouldn't shut all the way and we wouldn't realize, and Brecken just walks in there like he owns the place. So I was like, I was too in my head, like
Yeah.
if they were home, I'm just like, I don't know. Like I'm too worried that they're going to like come in here. My new house, the door shuts and it locks.
Yeah. So you can do it.
I'm like, we need to move towards doing this because I don't know. It's just kind of like puts this like wall up between us when we're with the kids.
Yeah. And
to
you
not.
don't want the kids for her to have a sense of like they're ruining
Yeah.
her time. Yeah.
So that's mine.
I love it.
That's good. That makes sense.
Yeah. That's
That really makes
yeah,
sense.
that's
Just
a quantifiable goal.
because it's half of your time too, or more than half of your time.
Yeah.
So to have it be a possibility.
Cool.
I have to say hi to my friend Stephanie because
Hi, Stephanie.
my only gay friend from high school,
Aw.
who we both were late bloomers, and I don't know how the hell we didn't know because we would have dances that we would do to Indigo Girls, like Closer to Fine. We would have like an actual dance that we would do. And so she was listening to the last time I was on, and she was so happy to hear it. And she said, I felt like a horrible person though, because I got to the end, I kept waiting for you to talk about me.
Oh my God.
As
That's
a person
hilarious.
in your life. So I
Yes.
said, okay, well, so I'm doing it now.
I
I'm
love
doing
it.
now,
Well,
Stephanie.
hi, and
Love
thank you
you
for
so
listening.
Yes, thanks for listening, Stephanie. Thank you for staying till the end of the episode.
Yes.
She was the person that said, when you said, how did you start Bloomers? And I said, well, I knew like two gay people,
okay.
but she was
She was one of them.
Oh, that's awesome.
Is
Yeah.
she single or dating?
married to a beautiful woman. They live in Portland.
Love it.
It was my first gay wedding I ever went to.
Nice.
It was seeing two women dance in their wedding dresses. I will never forget that feeling of wow, this is because it was before we were married. This is possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
wow.
beautiful to see.
Yeah, I love that.
So, all right, go forth and
prosper.
Have pleasure.
There we go. Thank you, Julia, for coming on.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks, you guys. I love the last minute invitation.
Want to support the Lesbian Chronicles podcast? Rate us and write a review on Apple Podcast or Spotify.
We love listener feedback. If you'd like to share your story, email us at melissaandallie@gmail.com. That's Melissa, MELISA, and Allie, ALLI, @gmail.com. Or follow us on Instagram at Lesbian Chronicles.